Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Outclaws. Big thanks to the r/Wings of Fire Discord server for partnering with us, so be sure to check them out. The link is in the description. Before we get started, we would like to give a big thanks to our new staff members. Puppet and Lucy Lemon, our new social media managers, Stormhunter and Atticus, our new editors, and Duolingo, KeyThief, Quartz, and Venus, our new graphic designers. Without further ado, here's your host, TopBug.
Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of the Wings of Fire podcast titled The Outclaws. It's a series where we invite a couple of guests to appear on the show to talk about a different book in the Wings of Fire series, created by Tui T. Sutherland and published by Scholastic. I'm your show host, TheTopBug, and here are the guests appearing for today.
Hello, I'm Blizzard. I'm an amateur artist for the Wings of Fire community, and I am a guest speaker for this show.
My name is Cattington, or just Cat. I am a typically digital artist or sculptor, and I am also appearing on this show.
Hey there, my name is Anori. I got into the fandom because I was actually curious. The books have a community. I think my favorite arc overall is probably Arc 1, so this is going to be a blast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
I am Wings of Charcoal, or just Char, and I am a content creator in the fandom, and given that my channel is basically based around discussing the series, I figured a podcast like this would be right up my alley.
Yep, aka I begged him to come on here. No, I didn't.
He did.
What? No, I don't.
It was pathetic, really. He was groveling at my feet.
No.
Okay.
Ouch. Anyways, before we get started, I would like to begin the discussion about Wings of Fire as a whole and what it means to each of us. So I would like to ask each of our guests, how did you get in the series and what does it mean for you?
Okay, so I think I first got into the series in like 2018, maybe third grade. Well, there was a book. I already explained this, but there was a book fair in my elementary school, and I stole book 10 just lying there, and I figured I'd pick it up, and the rest is just history.
I was about 7 or 8 in 2014, and my parents handed me this book. And it was like, hey, you like dragons? Here, read this. And I was really stubborn about it. I thought, oh, yeah, just because I like dragons doesn't mean I'm going to love it. And then I loved it, So here we are. It's just been a big part.
So for me, it was around spring 2013, I think. I noticed my friend reading something on the bus, and he showed it to me. It was the first book of Wings of Fire. I eventually convinced my mom to buy a copy for me, and I was immediately hooked.
Yeah, I actually volunteered at a local library around, I want to say 2017. Yeah, it was 2017. I was volunteering, and I remember when I was cleaning one of the shelves, I found the Legends Darkstalker book, which ended up becoming my favorite in the series. And there was also, I think it was a promo for Darkness of Dragons that was outside the main hallway, so I thought, you know what, this might be pretty good. So I picked it up, and here I am now. So Wings of Fire is a series I like, and the reason why I created this podcast in the first place is because I wanted to give other people a chance to really talk about it a lot more and just bring up any news that may come along the way. So that has been my main inspiration per se.
Here we are.
I will say right now this series will contain spoilers for Wings of Fire, but don't worry, for each episode we won't spoil any future work. Today we're allowed to talk about stuff in the Hidden Kingdom along with previous installments, but no future work. That sound good for you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Good.
All right, so before we get into it, I'm just wondering, like, what are your guys' general thoughts on the Hidden Kingdom?
I personally like the Hidden Kingdom because of all the twists and whatnot, and it was. I actually used to binge read the Book 3 graphic novel in my late elementary school, early middle school days, and it was probably one of my favorite books in the series.
I did mention this before we started, but I do my opinions on book 3 are very positive. But I did mention that I feel like it was filler / kind of setup for like between book 2's excitement and book 4's excitement, which I won't go into. It did feel like sort of a bridge between the two.
Yeah, so a while back I did a poll tournament, and in the Arc 1 poll, people seemed to agree that the Hidden Kingdom was my favorite. And I don't really have the arc fresh in my mind to compare it to right now, but after reading it, honestly, I can say, yeah, I think it's very good.
I remember the Hidden Kingdom when I first read it. I really seemed to like it at the time. I considered it my favorite for a while, but looking back in it, I can definitely say that the main reason I liked the Hidden Kingdom so much is like the different twists that happened throughout the novel, which we'll get to in a bit. But reading it a second time, while it wasn't as exciting as the first, when I was first uncovering all the secrets, I can still find things to appreciate here, which I do think is still solid. All right, let me read the back cover summary. Squeaky chair. Here's the back summary. I gotta grab my book real fast. Deep in the rainforest, danger awaits. The Dragonets of Destiny aren't sure what to expect in the Rainwing Kingdom. Glory hopes to learn more about her family. And since the Rainwings aren't fighting in the war, all 5 Dragonets think they might be able to hide safely for a while. But something deadly is stalking the peaceful kingdom, and the Dragonets soon discover that Rainwings have been mysteriously disappearing from the forest. When the Rainwing Queen won't do anything to find her missing tribe members, Glory and her friends set off on their own rescue mission, which leads them right back into enemy territory. Sounds like fun times, right?
Yeah,
Just a
definitely.
normal field trip.
Yeah.
Alright, I sure hope nothing wild and wacky happens during this adventure.
I sure hope Tui doesn't try writing a detective book, because that is this is our detective book.
Yes.
I would consider the next book to be the detective book, but let's see how this goes.
Fair point, yeah.
Alright, you guys ready to start?
Yep, ready.
I am.
Let's do it. So I'm gonna start by reading summaries, and feel free to stop me at any time to add any comments and whatnot. Alright, here we go with the Hidden Kingdom's prologue. The prologue involves the introduction of the 5 alternate Dragonets of Destiny: Squid the Seawing, Flame the Skywing, Fate Speaker the Nightwing, Ochre the Mudwing, and Viper the Sandwing. They are at the Talons of Peace headquarters on an unknown island, where the rest of the Talons are at, and are described as fighting a lot and rarely work together. Nautilus, the Talons' leader, and Morosir just stood conversing and agreeing that, yeah, this isn't going as well as they thought. After Squid and Fate Speaker come up and harass Morosir for a while, he decides that he's going to take them and train them properly, with the intent of replacing the original Dragonets with these alternate ones. And that's the quick ending of the prologue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to go off here, but I definitely think this is a lot more for, like, setup for the next book than this one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of set up for book 4.
Now that I think about it, like, the prologue for this book has been kind of different than the other two, because, like, at least with the other 2 prologues, Dragon of Prophecy and Lost Air, they were both setting up for that book, but I feel like the alternate Dragonets aren't really as present in this book, so I'm unsure why.
I would kind of wonder if, like,
the prologue.
Tui intended book 3 to be, like, longer, and then maybe either to meet, like, a publishing date or to do something else. She, like, cut it off at an early point, or, like, changed the ending a bit in order to fit, like, book 4 a little bit better. Because it is interesting that, like, this prologue is more set up for the next book instead of this one, so I'd wonder if there was something that happened there.
Yeah, probably. It's a good theory, I will say.
No, I pretty much said all I've said on the prologue. Like, again, it's kind of short and it does more setup for, like, later installments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything to add.
Okay. Alright, that was fast. Next is Act 1, which is the Rainforest Monsters. And this is 5 days after the events of the Lost Air, after destroying the Summer Palace. The Dragonets have recently escaped the bombing there in the Kingdom of the Sea, along with Webbs, who is slowly dying from the scratch that Blister gave him.
Ow.
And they are trekking through the foggy swamp. Yeah, Webbs has been taking L after L. I swear.
L after L, yeah, no.
It's just not his day.
Yeah.
Foggy Swamp Place.
This is not his series.
Webbs has been getting dumped on.
This is not like he's never had the best luck.
He's just like a middle-aged,
justice
like
for Webbs,
50-year-old dad who just gets dragged along the plot.
Pretty much, yeah.
I will start my Justice for Webbs campaign.
Webbs for Sea-Wing Queen.
Like I'll do it.
I am currently indifferent on Webbs.
Come on, he's cool.
Yeah.
He is kind of
Kind of there.
Yeah, a little bit, but maybe that's why I like him. I don't know. There are some characters that just stick to me for like little reasons, and like characters that I don't like, even though the book clearly wants me to like. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because sometimes I get attracted to the wrong characters. It feels sometimes.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, Webbs, honestly, I think the likable part about Webbs was that, like, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be in, like, the whole saving the world thing. He just wanted to, like, raise some kids and leave. Yeah, he wanted to retire.
He's done with his life.
Hoping to go back home and see his wife and
Ooh,
child,
yeah.
and
Then bombing a palace.
Yep, his life. Yep.
Just
yep.
must have been the case of the Mondays, right?
It was simply a case of the Mondays.
Yep.
Mondays and Mondays
I feel like that
on
would
lots
be
of
his, like,
steroids.
justice from self in court, you know? Just in front of the Sea-Wing Council. Go, Your Honor, Monday.
Make that his memoir. Just Mondays, but with
Yeah.
steroids. Anyways, they are trekking through the foggy, swampy Mud Kingdom when suddenly the group hears a pair of Mudwing soldiers on patrol, and they decide to hide. And they mention about something about a rainforest monster that keeps taking the Rainwings, I believe. And then, as they're continuing to fall along, they hear a scream from up ahead, and then the two of them have been killed by having their throats ripped out. So that was pretty wild. Another thing I wanted to add is that the first arc was definitely
8 to 12. Woo!
different.
Yay.
Honestly, I forgot.
Huge air quotes around 8 to 12 there.
8 to 12 trademark.
8 to 12 followed by 20 asterisks.
Yeah. 8 to 12.
Just italicized Times New Roman.
In live chat, just said the three came out.
That was
I do Roman double space.
That's another thing. I feel like the first arc was definitely wild, which is why I prefer it over the later arcs for various reasons, which I'll mention later. So after another day's hike, despite Starflight's protest that they should do literally anything besides walking into the rainforest where a monster might live, they just keep heading in there, gotta keep moving. And then, one by one, Sunny, Webbs, Tsunami, and Clay are sleep darted by the Rainwings. And I think they get put up in a net.
Yeah, a net.
Just like
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah, it
that
was
just
a
drag
net.
it along.
Yeah, because the sleep darts are made from I believe they're made from tree frogs, I believe, if I remember correctly, because I remember writing that down.
Possibly.
After the misunderstanding, the Rainwings take Glory, Starflight, and their unconscious comrades to their village, a hidden paradise of tree houses, woven vine, hammocks, and fruit. And Glory also meets up with her own pet sloth when she reluctantly agrees to do sun time, which is probably the most relaxed she's ever been. Because I think they mentioned that Rainwing under sun time is more filled up than any food could ever do.
I feel like that could be an interesting thing to bring up at some point later for arc 3 for tribe reasons, without spoiling too much. But there's a lot of stuff you can get into with genetics and evolution for that. But that was entirely not what I wanted to talk about.
You should be surprised how much I took about notes about genetics and stuff.
Yeah.
'Cause I've written a lot of different trivia things.
Honestly, I do kind of want to mention the sloth, because a lot of the books have a trademark cutesy character.
It was just
In
a
this book,
sloth,
it was
yeah.
literally just a sloth.
Glory
It was a sloth.
sloth.
You know what? Yeah, the rest of at least in Arc 2 and Arc 3, they have a specific character, but no, this
was
time it's
just
just
a
a
sloth.
sloth.
Glory just took a sloth around and was like, right, cool, you're mine now.
Yep.
Pretty
I feel like that
much.
sloth
You're my
before
friend
sloth
now.
three
We're having
times
yeah.
some
what Webbs
tacos
did.
later.
For the chosen one.
Honestly, yeah, that's sad. A sloth got more character development than Webbs this book.
Yeah. Another L for Webb.
Oh my god, you're right. No, the sloth got more development in this book
The
than
sloth
Webbs
said
gets in the
"Murr, murr,
entire
murr," and then
series.
Webbs just
I'm
started
sorry,
crying.
Yeah.
Webbs.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Webbs.
The sloth chose
supposed
her.
to
She's
start
the
my-
chosen one. She's the chosen one.
I'm still doing my Justice for Webbs campaign, trademark italicized Times New Roman.
Double space.
APA
Double
format.
space. Can't forget double space.
Alright. After the sun time, Glory learns out that one of the people that used the sleeping darts was Jambu, and who is her half brother, that they were able to do the venom test on, which if two dragons are related and they use their venom, like they would counteract each other instead of speed up
Can we
the process.
talk about like rainwing
So that was
venom
pretty
real
good.
quick, because it's such an interesting thing to get into. Like it only melts organic things. It's canceled out by family. It's like it's almost like an acid. But then like how do they store it? Is it like activated by oxygen, or like how does rainwing venom work? You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
How does rainwing venom work?
I do remember them saying something about like Jambu practically unhinging his jaw.
Yeah, they did.
So is it,
He
like-
did do that.
So is it like, is there something like some sort of sac that's
I
like
think that's more for,
decompressing
like,
or
I think
something?
there was, like,
less
a-
like venom.
It's probably like a specific like organ that.
Yeah,
that
so
stores
something
the
like
venom.
a
It's
stomach, where it
toxic,
stores
is
something
what I'm
like
thinking.
stomach acid, but like for venom, rainwing like shoots out.
But for the longest time, I thought the venom spec out from their fangs, from the long fangs they have.
I should have paid more attention to biology class if I could have answered the venom question correct.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to know the chemistry behind like what causes the venom of two related
Yeah,
rainwings to cancel each other
Yeah,
out.
that's what I'm
That-
thinking.
That is a good question.
Also, how closely
you know, like,
related
how
do
far
they
back
have to
to
be?
go?
Maybe not that related, since Domu's like Gory's half
Glory and
brother.
Jambu is. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that.
so maybe let's
I guess related enough.
and
it's like
hold
a
on,
good.
moving
I don't
going
know, a
on.
good
Yeah,
50%.
Grandeur
and it
and
works
Glory.
with-
Is that what you're about to
and
bring
it-
up? Yeah. Sorry, I stole your thunder
Yeah.
there. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like Grandeur's like great grandmother, I think what they established. So that it still works from like a longer bloodline.
Yeah, like I don't think they actually confirmed what specifically Grandeur is to Glory, because like Glory threw out the ideas of like granddaughter or great grandniece
Yep, that's
specifically,
Grandniece, and that's like a lot of
Mhm.
like different.
but they don't
Yeah.
like they don't like confirm which one.
Didn't you do like the science behind like what percentage Icewing that
Oh
Sunny
god,
would be?
yeah.
I remember you doing a post about that.
Oh yeah, that was a post I did.
Maybe you should have done that with the venom. We would have gotten the answer then.
No, it wouldn't, because like because the thing of like Sunny's Icewing percentage is like actual just like math that we're given and can figure out. The venom just doesn't make sense.
Why not? Why would they change math?
It's like trying to like learn animus magic
Math
and how
is
animus
math.
magic works, which there's a whole lot you can get into there,
Oh, God.
especially about getting around the raising the dead.
I want to
but, like,
save.
It's something else.
I want to save like all this stuff for Animus and the arc too,
Yeah.
because I have quite a few things to say.
Oh, there is
to say the
so
least.
much to say. It's
Yeah,
It gets really nutty at some points. and I
yeah,
wanted to
especially
bring
because
that
like
up.
the rules of animus magic sort of shifted, which is interesting. Like I won't get into it now, but like you can sort of tell when we changed and defined what animus magic was, and then completely removing it from the series. Sort of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dark
It was
3
just
doesn't
completely-
feature any animus
Yeah,
magic.
just wiped out.
That's kind
wiped
of
out.
nice because at least they couldn't fall back on like animus magic does spell. But at the same time, I feel like there were better ways to handle that.
Yeah, instead of just like
Yeah, let's-
wiping
let's-
it.
let's-
yeah.
Let's get back into
Yeah,
At
it.
this
we
point,
are,
we're getting into spoiler territory.
We are.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we gotta
we
get
are,
back
we are.
into
Arc
Arc 2.
one.
I
Yeah,
have
Arc
to
2
be
here.
the moderator, sorts.
Moderator, admin,
Anyways,
the owner.
Anyway, moving on. They learn out that the quote unquote monster that killed the Mudwing soldiers is also kidnapping Rainwings. Because I think there's around, I'm going to say 14 or 17 that are missing as
Yeah.
of this moment. About a dozen, yeah. Including one of the queens, Queen, I think it was
Yeah.
Splendor. Yes. So they go to the. I don't want to say it's not really a palace. It's
Yeah.
more like a treehouse.
It's more like it is.
Like
It really is a
the queen, I
treehouse.
believe.
It's like a hut.
It's like this the queen's
It's like the
special.
Queen's Pavilion.
hut.
Did they call it a
That's
what
Pavilion or
it
was
is.
it?
Wasn't it Queen Magnificent?
The entire Rainwing
It is,
Kingdom
it
was
really
just my
is.
dream tree house.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's like that tree house I wanted to make as a kid, but never got the
Honestly,
chance.
yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
I've also would have to take up an entire rainforest to do it, but hey, I'll build that tree house.
Something tells me it was
Probably.
Tui's dream tree house too.
I could see why.
Now, did Tui dream for like a dragon dogfighting ring too, or do you think that one was left out in Tui childhood?
That was
Yeah.
probably left out. So moving on, before I mentioned, like they take turns being queen. Like that's something interesting about the Rainwing tribe. They just kind of pass it along to whoever, like every month
Yeah.
or so. So the queen this time is magnificent, and she's brought into the audience with like 2 other Rainwings. I think it was Mangrove and Bromelid. How do you say her name?
yeah.
Bromelid?
Bromeliad, I think.
Bromeliad. Thank you. I can't say words. They talked about like 2 Rainwings that are missing, and one of them was like a student of Bromeliad's that disappeared during Venom training, and then Mangrove lost Orchid, who disappeared during fruit gathering, and both of them disappeared around the same time, nearly 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
And then Glory.
Yeah, bro, we got lost Think of
Glory, the
Jail.
only
Fuck Think
smart
of Jail.
Rainwing, decides, maybe there's something here.
well, I think part of the reason she decided to investigate in the first place is because like after figuring out like in the hatchery, like they don't do like originally she was there to find her parents, but the Rainwings don't do families. They're instead raised by the whole tribe. And after realizing that, I guess Glory just got frustrated, and because like most of her life she was characterized as lazy by the
and then
other
suddenly
Guardians,
she
right?
ends up
So
entire tribe.
Yeah.
it was part of that.
And like hoping to whatever day they would hear that the Guardians were wrong, but then that cruel twist of turning out, oh my god, they're right.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was like the shocking part for me. Is like, oh, stop being stereotypical.
Yeah, just don't be stereotypical of them.
Pretty much.
It's exactly the thing. Exactly what I'm thinking.
So Glory would pretty much help the Rainwings out of spite for herself in a sense, because she didn't want to like be the same. So she goes around doing some investigation, and they find a hole like placed into a rock that is probably created by animus magic, and it actually leads them into from the rainforest into Burn's stronghold, and then they realize they're in the Kingdom of the Sand, and that's where Act 1 ends. Probably could have done a better job summarizing. Yeah, I guess there's a lot to uncover. I think one of my favorite things is that during Burn's stronghold, I think she has like dragon heads, like just hanging out in the front.
I just kind of like, because it's less on the front gate. I thought it was more of like on the wall that was supposed to keep like scavengers out. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
is.
both. I think it was both. Like it was
and like not even just described in this book, but like on Dragon Slayer. This isn't a spoiler because it's literally on the cover. You can Burn Stronghold is in the background. And you can see dragons' heads on pikes.
That's pretty
8 to 12. Woo!
The only good thing about Dragon Slayer is its cover art. That's it.
And they didn't even get that right. If you look at it, like Sandwing trunks and mouths are supposed to be black.
You're making it hard.
You see that like it's red too. So
Also, like the scene they depict literally never happens.
Right. Oh yeah, that never happened. You're making it hard now.
We gotta get back to that later.
Slayer. I would love.
Yeah, that's another episode.
I would love to continue to dunk on it, but I have to actually keep this in book 3 territory. Because if I did do that, then we would probably be here all day. And I think we got other things.
Yeah, and I can really only be here for the next like 50 minutes because I have to turn my phone in at 9:30, so not good. Yeah,
I think a bit.
Yeah. That's an episode for another day.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of trivia I found interesting is how like Rainwing eggs were pale, and then with the sunlight above them, they could be like you could see like shimmering colors like underneath. Because like when I first read it, I thought like it was already predetermined colors, but no, like I think they're only the only I think eggs, if I'm correct.
You think they'd be like green because technically I can't get it. This is sort of spoilers, but like you sort of know the reason why I would think they'd be green. But it's interesting that they're like it's interesting how they're pale.
I think I know.
Yeah.
Green.
No, I just found that a bit interesting. Just finding like these little pieces of, going back to this like. Reading it like seriously instead of just casually, I noticed like there's a lot of details that I missed, like interesting pieces of trivia.
Yeah,
which I always find.
That's pretty much the case with everybody.
Yeah. I think it's also because like you're looking for it also, but it's also like you come back to it and you're older and you like know what to look for instead of just reading through and going, oh look, cool dragons, and it's interesting to like pick up on stuff.
Yeah,
it always is. That's the part I found, like the stuff I said earlier about the tranquilizers and the eggs. Like I always find interesting when there's like these little pieces of details that the reader can pick up on, and it feels like there's like this, like each of it's kind of like a giant puzzle you're trying to figure out together, which I like. That's what I like about books that are pretty good when it comes to world building, is that there's always these little pieces that you can pick up like something new each time.
Yeah,
book 3 was nice.
Which I found interesting.
Which I do like. Which I do like about books.
Nice because like you couldn't immediately guess everything in book 3 too, because like despite being intentionally made for children, you'd think like the hints and the plot twists would be easy to see, but they're really not. Like you wouldn't expect what's coming after.
Yeah, like honestly, okay, I think that's like why this would like the mystery story here works, because in most stories when characters are going missing or getting killed one by one, usually the culprit is someone you're already introduced to. But here, that's not the case. Like they use like that revelation to actually expand the world a bit more and reveal some secrets that the audience has been thinking about for a while now.
I do like it, when stories actually keep things a secret and not just give away in the beginning for the audience to already know. Dragons.
And there was I can't remember exactly which prologue or epilogue, but there was the one where, and I know it happened already, but Blister just kills Kestrel, and I feel like that could have been another mystery that happened. Like it could have been like who do we find out?
Yeah, that was the epilogue of book 1.
That was the epilogue of book 1.
I mean, I wouldn't call that like a major flaw per se, because we already knew, like, the main mystery of the Lost Heir wasn't.
Yeah, like why bother trying to spin a mystery with it if the audience already knows?
Yeah, I'm saying like the main mystery of the Lost Heir wasn't who killed Kestrel. That wasn't the main mystery. The main mystery was the sealing eggs and why they're getting smashed. Like, I feel like if the Lost Heir was about Kestrel's death and who killed her, like, it would be infinitely worse. Absolutely. Because the audience already knows the answer.
Like, it's what I mean is like,
exactly.
If you didn't show that, it would be another thing, and it would probably be more of a shock to the reader, especially to find out like, oh, Blister, who's sitting right in front of us, is like, and you watch Starflight piece that together in a way.
That's the thing. I would like to praise like book 4, and that's it for another time. Because I do think it's like one of the better books when it comes to its mystery, because I feel like that one has one of the better ones in terms of mystery. Alright, let's go back. Turn back time to Act 2, Sand, Ice, and Smoke. While the group of Dragonets are arguing about the impossibilities of suddenly being in the Kingdom of the Sand, Mangrove dashes out the tunnel and behind them and heads for the Ice Kingdom. The Dragonets decide to go there next, and they're tagged along by Jambu as well. So the 6 of them are heading towards the Ice Kingdom. And I think Jambu and Glory go into the... later they go into the...
Yeah, it was like a
It wasn't the palace yet, because I think that... It was just a regular building, because the Ice-Wing house is made out of ice. But before then... Yeah, Glory meets another Nightwing named Deathbringer. He was talking about waiting for like a few someones. So it's always fun when he's waiting for the Dragonets to Destiny. Just saying that.
Yeah, it's just a Tuesday. Unlike Webb's is Monday. We've got Webb's Monday and Deathbringer Tuesday.
Glory and Jammu infiltrate the base as Icewings. I think their names were Storm and Penguin, respectively. And then plenty of the Icewing Fortress has a bunch of Sandwing artifacts, which I found pretty interesting. Like how they do miss their home, because I think Glory even points that out. I would be too if I had to live in that. I have to live in, I don't know, the middle of the Arctic for God knows
Especially
how long.
Especially as a desert dragon too. Used to the intense heat and all oh no.
It's like someone from Arizona trying to move to Alaska.
Exactly. Yeah.
That would be that would be horrifying.
Someone from Egypt.
Yeah.
Someone from Egypt.
I think definitely.
The Hera Desert.
Sunny probably had it the hardest because
Egypt, from Egypt to Antarctica.
Sunny definitely had it the hardest because she's saying the heat is her thing, and then going to I don't know, the middle of the Arctic just to freeze to death for a queen that they're probably not even gonna choose.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to just rip Blaze apart, because there's a lot you can talk about when it comes to character.
Can we just acknowledge that entire trip to the Ice Kingdom only happened because Mangrove was just being impulsive?
It did. It did.
That's only me. That's all me.
I think they were probably going to meet up with Blaze eventually, but that was just to get motivation for them to go there. Because when they do go there, Blaze she's nice, but she's also kind of incompetent in ways. I think
kind of is an understatement.
Kind of. No. I think now that I take that all back what I said about the twister. The real twist is how she's still alive after 18 years.
Blaze in a building.
Yeah, that is something to think about.
Passive Blaze is?
I think.
Passive Blaze is?
Oh no, she was completely fine, just letting strangers in, not checking for weapons, leaving them all alone with her. It's all good.
I feel like a common conversation she has with Glacier is something along the lines of, "Damn it, Blaze, that's the 5th assassination I've had to stop this week."
Yes.
No, I think she mentions how Glacier did rip off the wings of another dragon when he tried to attack Blaze.
It was fun.
So that was pretty funky. It's I don't know.
Also, the whole reason the Ice Wings are helping Blaze is to
Nobody
gain
really
some
won.
territory that
Oh, yeah,
nobody really wants.
She promised
Yeah.
territory. I don't. Did they mention what they?
Even
said the
Deathbringer acknowledges,
Yeah.
like, the Ice
I
Wings
think he
wouldn't
just wanted
even
to be
really want this
included,
place
honestly.
anyway.
The Ice Wings just wanted
No, they wouldn't. But I think like he mentioned like there could be like possible hidden treasure, but I don't even think I don't even
Yeah, it
remember
was
if
just
the
like
land was
terrible
important.
propaganda.
Blaze is just
Just casually giving off territory.
Blaze just got a nat 20 persuasion roll there.
Not even. It would probably take like a nat 2 AC just to
I feel like Blaze,
get it to be convinced.
she's not dead
'Cause,
yet
like-
because it's kind of like a sad puppy dog. She like it just kind of follows you around. You go, well, I can't like tell it to go away, so Glacier just kind of decided to accept it. Yeah,
I totally see their dynamic as being that. Like Glacier doesn't want to be Blaze's ally, but she just can't bring herself to tell her no.
I think they're kind of forced to at this rate for having like
Yeah.
a world war.
Yeah, like she can't just back out now for the sake of tribal pride.
It kind of reminds me of like this is slightly related. I guess like I was working at a deli one time, and then there was like I remember telling them about my name, and then they completely misheard it to like something completely different. But at that point, I was just too afraid to tell them that's not my name because they already knew me by that name for too long. So it's kind of the same thing where they just like I don't know, just keep it around because it's convenient. But it was, I think it was just purely political gain that Glacier was going through. Although there was like a moment I think there was a specific moment in Arc 2 that wanted to like protest against that idea, but I feel like I might be a little bit off because it has been a while since I've read the third arc. Because I remember there's like a scene with Glacier later on that might have hinted that like it was more than just like political gain,
yeah.
but I don't remember.
It was where like because Blaze would essentially be a figurehead, and like Blaze would be like indebted to Glacier, and Blaze is sort of like a pushover, so Glacier can kind of like boss her around in a way. Which what we know of Glacier from this, from this book especially, I can sort of see it. But like later on, I don't see if that would be possible, knowing Glacier's limited personality that we see.
Yeah, Glacier doesn't really show up that much. Glacier doesn't really show up much in any of the books, really. She's only like
I'm inclined to believe that it was. Damn, Blizzard, do you want to keep talking? I'll let you go. It's okay, man.
oh, that was the end of my conversation. Goodbye.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, I've already said my
shitty.
point a lot.
Yeah, Glacier's just kind of there.
I honestly forgot she existed until I read this again, to be honest, because I don't think she applied to a lot in terms of like the grand scope of the story. I don't remember her doing a whole lot. Anyways, after that little political meeting,
Ew, yes, I would describe that as fun time.
Fun times. They bring her back to the rest of the Dragonets, and like she pretty much just tells them, "Oh yeah, vote for me. I'll be super nice. Hopefully I won't get killed. I'll have Glacier."
I find
for
it
me."
funny, like the difference between Blaze and her siblings, because like Blister and Burn were obviously sort of like, well, these kids aren't deciding my fate, and then Blaze was sort of like, oh, cool, children, they'll get the world on my side.
I think Burn was overtly cruel, while Blister would be like more subtle about it, and then Blaze is just kind of a little.
Yeah, which does
Blaze
make
is an
sense
idiot.
because
Starflight's description
Blaze
of
is
Blaze
just
as
an
a
idiot.
bullheaded
What-
idiot was kind of fair.
although it does make sense because it does make sense that Blister is more subtle about it because she's supposed to be the smartest of the three sisters.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the main point. Is
Yeah,
that
he was supposed to.
none of them were really that great.
Yeah, Burn is like, okay,
Like you said,
And the
I'm
fact that
gonna
like
go
just
with Ken.
Blaze just isn't worried at all
It was
about
just supposed to be like
potential
brain, brawn,
nation or
brawn, and
challenges.
beauty, and then like one of them got the short end of the stick, and that was absolutely.
It was definitely the Brains, Brawn, Beauty trio. Blaze was arguably the nicest, but even though she probably would have
Yeah,
reigned for like less
I think
than
the only
a
reason was
week.
Blaze was the nicest because she had nothing else going for her. Like it was either be nice or be like a terrible character.
No, I guess that's true because
Yeah.
we already had like two of them that would definitely something else. So Blaze was definitely the lesser of
Which I mean, describing
three evils, I
Blaze
guess.
as evil is kind of funny.
But she wasn't exactly that great
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, like still not a good choice, but compared to Blister and Burn,
Like, it's serious. I would rather choose Blister because she is actually smart.
Yeah.
Who would you rather choose,
glad
two dictators or an
series
idiot?
I would. I'm gonna choose the smartest of the three. Choose the smartest of the three.
like would you rather be stabbed in the arm or in the chest? Take your
Both
pick.
are bad. But you have to choose.
Just it's like asking which scorpion do you want to be stung by first.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be stung, but
Pick your poison.
I mean, it's gonna end badly either way. But
I think another thing that I forgot to mention is that Blaze just like admittedly asks Glory
Which,
like, "Oh, why-
again, idiot moment because Why would you ever ask someone that?
Oh yeah, she also like grabbed onto Jambu and just examined him like a tapestry. I think it was just like, oh, can I get like a code of these rainwing scales?
Honestly,
As
all
if
right,
it was just like.
In all fairness, like I think might have made her more feared if like if aside from the fact that they're rainwing scales and nobody sort of respects the rainwings, wearing a coat of dragon scales as a dragon probably would have induced some sort of fear, and I wonder why. Like
That would be psychotic.
It would.
Now that you mentioned that, that does sound psychotic.
I'm imagining the human equivalent, and I don't want I want to turn my
we
brain
already
off.
don't like humans from Dragon Slayer. Don't bring them up.
All right, you know what? Yeah, they deserve it then. I'm the only one that stuck his neck out for BP. I think all those humans deserve. I'm gonna stop before I get ahead of myself.
As a human, I can confirm we suck.
Yeah, society
Wings
is
of Fire
good.
fans when they
I
see
do.
humans. God, okay. Glory like had that same thought, like, why didn't you just go home? Because like, at least with like everyone else, like she talked about how all the other dragons of Destiny had some home to return to that could be somewhat satisfied, and Glory just she never really felt at home, like in the rainforest, like during the first act. Because that was like the whole point, because they were essentially living up to the stereotypes that she was hoping they were wrong for so long, and then oops.
And yep, they were right. They were sadly right. And Glory's the only non-lazy one. And John Barrow.
Yeah, Mangro. That was because Mangro was kind of.
Well, yeah, and yeah, that was only.
And Mangrove was one of the only people who actually realized there was a problem and cared about it.
There are only like 4 non-lazy Waybrains.
Okay, well, yeah, like Mangrove definitely wasn't the only one who realized there was a problem.
No.
He was just one of the only ones who cared.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. The other ones were indifferent. Let's get back to it. And after they have that little conversation, Deathbringer shows up, just says, oh, I'm not here to kill you, but I can kill her. So he throws out like these little sharp discs. I think one of them actually got lodged in like Blaze's neck and like spilled like blood all over
although it didn't really
Sunny.
hit a major artery, so.
It didn't. No, that was a bit of a mistake. So Glory was able to, fend him off. I mean, he was able to take out most of them pretty easily. Because like I think he managed to throw off Blay when Glory couldn't even get him
lovable
off.
meatball.
Just a beast.
Yeah,
An absolute power unit of a character.
absolutely. Yeah.
He is all brawn, absolutely no brain.
Ouch.
Oh my god, I don't know if any of you have seen Dr. Stone, and even I've only seen one episode. He's basically Taiju.
I've never seen Dr. Stone. Like it looks interesting.
Basically, I've only watched one episode.
I think it's about like that series where the high school kids like get sent like 3,000 years in stone and then restart the world or something.
Yeah, basically humanity gets turned to stone.
I don't remember.
And
like I'm probably
3,000
way
years
off.
later, 2 of them like come back to life. But anyway, Taiju is basically just meathead, not very
Big,
bright,
lovable.
but really strong,
Big,
but also
lovable
kind of a
genius, is what
pacifist.
Clay is. I would purchase marketable Clay plushies.
I honestly thought Clay was better in his first book because he had some like development that I talked about in the first episode about like nature versus nurture and all that I wish would have seen come back, because like the whole point is like him struggling like becoming like the monster that he was expected to be versus like his caring nature.
Yeah.
And like after that he just
hungry.
became, I want food. That's pretty much his character post book 1, which I'm kind of saddened about.
He was first like somewhat brave, and then he just went like, "Oh, a cow! I want to eat it."
Don't mess with us, Wings of Fire fans. We haven't gotten any lore since 2012.
Clay sort of transitioned from like evil, don't want to be evil, and then stummy hurt the entire series. Kind of funny.
So after surviving the assassination attempt from Deathbringer, they make their way back to the tunnel, which is actually surprisingly hidden because like a bunch of the sand from the desert actually like wipes up the portal back, which I found interesting.
Yeah, near the end of the arc.
Something that occurred to me, like that happening every day seems kind of like too coincidental. So maybe like the sand building up in front of it was part of the enchantment.
Maybe that's probably, yeah, I could see that happen. I forgot.
Yeah.
I think they reveal who built the tunnel later in the series.
Maybe.
So make their way back, and they decide to like, I think it was Glory and Tsunami that decided to guard the tunnel while everyone else is back home. And Sunny actually took like the cactus
and the sloth
to cure Webbs's venom attack.
Yeah,
because I think Blaze was also revealed that. Yeah, so basically everyone's back home now. Tsunami and Glory are just sitting by, just making sure nothing comes out, and then they notice Deathbringer just like whistling around, like just taking a stroll.
Some assassin he is if he's just going to give himself away by whistling.
It's. I feel like that was the intention. I think he was intentionally.
Deathbringer is kind of a soy
He did
boy.
that intentionally.
Just to like say it. Just to put it out there. Point the claim. Yeah.
I'll probably mention more about
Alright.
Deathbringer later because I got like a couple thoughts. So after they encounter him, they basically tie him up. So Gloria insists that she watches over Deathbringer for the night, and then she got an idea. Well, if they're coming to kidnap Rainwings, I'm a Rainwing, so I'm gonna use myself as bait. So she ties up Deathbringer's snout and has Clay watch over him while she's just like. I think she was
wandering
like walking
around like
the
looking
forest just
for
for like a
spot.
couple hours or something, and then she finally, just walking around getting some clues, and then all of a sudden, bam, knocked out and kidnapped.
New Jersey.
Yep.
Welcome
So
to Detroit.
in other
To the
words,
night
New
kingdom.
Jersey.
Sorry
It's a
for your
Detroiter,
loss,
I can
Carl.
confirm.
Welcome to
Yeah.
Michigan.
Is this a casual thing in Detroit? Just like casually walk around and then get kidnapped by a Nightwing?
Welcome to Illinois.
I mean, I've personally
as
never
someone from
witnessed
Detroit,
it,
you
but
could just simply
Keep
walk
it that
around,
way.
you know?
Chicago.
on the news.
It happens.
I feel like you can't have anything in Detroit, not even Detroit.
Can't even have Detroit in Detroit.
Yep.
That's definitely
So-
how the
Not
laws of
even
laws of logic work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Remember that old like Cleveland tourism video?
oh god, that sounds horrible. So as she's getting kidnapped, it was revealed that Deathbringer did know about the kidnappings, but decided to keep that information hidden. And Gloria is brought to one of the kidnapped dragonets, Kinkajou, who's the youngest and has been
that
missing
was
for
about-
I believe 3 weeks at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it
And
was
then
18
I think
days. Was it 18 days?
Like
or was
out
it
of
other one?
the
Or was that one?
out of the 17 Rainwings that
I
have been
think one of
kidnapped,
them
she mentions
was
that 3
Cameron.
of them are dead,
Oh, yeah.
including
thinking
I think it was
Cameron, not
Tapir,
the
which is the
Yeah,
oldest
no,
one.
sorry, that's on me. Yeah.
No, Cameron wasn't kidnapped.
No, Cameron's still alive.
No, three of them are dead, basically. And she's found the Nightwing home, which is basically surrounded by this giant volcano and like a bunch of
place
lava. This place is
Jersey.
really bad. Like not really great. It's almost like walking into.
It's like walking.
It's very bad. It's like walking
Can we
into
refer to
Boston.
it as Boston?
I'm kidding.
He's walking in Porteret.
Yeah.
I'm pulling no punches with
Much-
the city slander tonight.
No.
I'm sorry. I should probably hold back.
No, don't.
I
Oh no, I never said it was a
Oh
bad
my
thing.
God.
Keep going.
if anyone's listening
no.
from like Detroit or Boston, I'm just messing around.
No, there's more comedy if you stick to it.
You're good.
All right. Yep. So she's pretty much tied up. Like she's got like the metal bindings on her snout, and I think like ropes on like her feet and wings. And so basically has to do like a game of charades to Kinkajou for a little bit. Before like I think it was like a couple Nightwing soldiers like coming up bringing some food. They always bring like dead and rotting stuff, so it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she decides to she's gonna make a fight for it, so he was able to take out I think two Nightwings on her own because like the third one ran away, and a fourth one was gonna get her before Kinkajou
Oh, this
actually
one is not-
uses some of her venom. So that was pretty good.
So I do kind of like the idea, like the Nightwings,
Yeah.
like sort of knowing that they have venom, but not exactly being prepared for one of them to actually fight back.
You
Yeah.
think that they're testing
Like,
them
you're
for
still
their
not
venom
ready
because that's what
for
Kinkajou
funny.
said when one of the
Yeah,
Rainwings,
that's
Gibbon,
it,
was
that's-
being brought over.
Yeah,
to the
but
test.
keep in mind keep in mind how most Rainwings are. They probably just counted on Glory being submissive like the rest.
Yeah, sorry.
Especially since they don't know she's a Dragonet of Destiny yet.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I think not much of the world knows about the Skywing being dead, so that's probably true.
I don't think it would be very easy to not hear about.
Yeah, but then again,
It's
like
fun
if
that
you're a
you
Skywing, I don't think you
flash
want to
with venom
tell
in the
people
face.
about that happening to your queen.
Well, no, but
No,
eventually
because they agreed to stop telling
But
everyone.
also, even if they do like hear the story, they
Yeah,
have no
even
way
if
of
they
knowing that this
Story
specific
of
random
what?
Rainwing
Lazy
they
Rainwings
kidnapped
have
is that
magic
Dragonet of
death
Destiny.
spit? What, huh? Like it.
I think this is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, they thought it was an attack. Like our queen's being attacked, and then nothing else.
I don't even think the Skywings knew that it was Rainwing venom. I just think they just thought it was like some secret ability
Of course.
thing.
So after that, before
Yeah.
they can make a more of an elaborate escape plan with, I guess, literally nothing, because they're kind of screwed because they didn't think far ahead because everyone else left and they can't fly over. I think
I do like Glory's line of like, "Who am I, tsunami?"
Oh yeah, that's right. just saw an opportunity to attack and took it.
Yep,
That's funny.
impulsive.
Yeah, Clay and Deathbringer actually show up. Like, he manages to convince Clay to let him go, so this is where the epic escape plan begins.
I imagine that would have had to be some sort of charades as well between like Deathbringer and Clay, like similar to like the Glory and Kikiju one, where Deathbringer just like waves around a lot.
Probably, just like, I thought he like couldn't really move that much because like his entire body was tied against the tree with the vines. Or maybe he would just like burn the vines off.
Yeah.
Probably something else. So yeah, they planned their epic escape route, right? I think Deathbringer ran off because like he couldn't really be seen with the rest of them. Because, you know, treachery is kind of bad, you guys.
Yeah. Wait, really?
Yeah.
I think that might be the first time that that happened. So we got the three of them. Glory is basically on Clay's back with a spear, so I think they're ready to take on the world before they get ambushed by literally an army of Nightwings.
Yep.
And they were surprisingly able to hold out their own. I think Kinkajou was able to fight back a little bit before getting, I think it was like scratched by the Nightwing. Like, she got kind of beat up a little bit, and then Glory just said, "Oh hell no!" So she was able to do an escape maneuver on another Nightwing that was pinning her down, and just like launch every single venom from the Wrath of God on another.
It was like
Nightwing.
she mentioned she did like what Sunny does during trainings, where like even though there's no barb there, she like sticks the tail into your back, and then like that like,
just like the element of surprise.
Yeah, it's like how you don't expect it.
Deformed Penguin.
I mean, Sunny is a lot more competent than a lot of people think. And that's another thing for book 5, which I'll talk about.
Yeah. Honestly, all the slander against Sunny is kind of funny.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Funny Sunny.
It was also useful.
Yeah.
Funny Sunny, exactly. Alright, so they finally managed to escape from the Nightwing Island and get like the bindings off, so Kinkajou is just kind of guarding the entrance. I think they mentioned she looks more like a decoration.
Yeah, it was like a
than
fierce like door stopper.
I mean, can you imagine like having like a 9-year-old just like guard a door?
Yes.
It's like a big spear.
That would be hilarious.
So that was kind of funny.
Top security person.
So they go back. Glory like informs them that they did find the Rainwings trapped on the island. Asked Magnificent, we gotta send a rescue expedition. And she was like, "Do we have to though? We got plenty of dragons here." And yeah, she was pretty furious because Magnificent was just really willing to let them all die because I don't know, she just didn't feel like getting off the seat. And that's where Glory challenges Magnificent to the Rainwing throne so she can gather her army. And that's where the Act 2 ends. I think Act 2 is definitely my personal favorite out of the book because there was a lot of different twists that happened, which I do like. And overall, I think it was a solid entry as to the rest of the book. We got any other thoughts or like things we pointed out during like Act 2?
Nope.
I would like to ask what everyone's favorite ex-queen was. That's always a fun topic.
We'll probably save that for the Q&A session later.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Get through this
Yeah,
right
we can just save that up for that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next is, where did I... Oh man, I lost my part.
In your 58 pages of notes.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. Can't really deny that. It just sounds so defeated. Here we go. Act 3, A Throne of the Treetops, which spans chapter 25 to 33. So, after Glory challenges Magnificent to the Rainwing throne, an elderly Rainwing named Handsome informs them of a Rainwing tradition that allows them to pick a queen without any bloodshed, which involves like a set of challenges ranging from like camouflage to like fruit gathering and such. So
hide and seek.
Glory agrees to those terms. Royal hide and seek is essentially what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
Literally nothing that involves actual qualifications to be
It's
queen.
like, how would you run our government? No, it's like, who can hide the best?
Exactly.
who can hide?
Who would win in a race? Who can gather the most
Right.
species
Those
of
are
fruit?
actual
Can you
qualifications
find
for
this?
queen.
Can you find a flower amongst the giant
I'm suddenly
rainforest?
starting to see why all of the Rainwing queens were kind of incompetent.
Cares
Yeah.
about leading
Yeah.
a
I think
war
they
front,
mentioned like
training your troops.
all of them are kind of
Troops, bro.
not great. So like, I think Glory like gives like a rousing speech to like the rest of the Rainwings, saying like, "Hey, we should probably do something. You know, I think your friends dying on the other side of the world isn't that fun."
It's not poggers, just glory.
They say gathering fruits is more important than fighting lost dragon neck. Like what?
Guys, having your friends die on the other side of the world is kind of cringe.
Kind of cringed, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, like,
Absolutely.
Glory just kind of snapped at this point. Like, she was just like, "What is wrong with all of you?"
He's given up on the Rainbow tribe.
This has been rough. Like, honestly, like all of them just like. She like admits that she doesn't think many of the Rainwings are competent because of how they just sit around and I guess do nothing. It's pretty bad.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so gives like a little rousing speech, and then she informs the rest of them about the plan. So she spends like the next couple of hours just like practicing different Rainwing skills and abilities, which is like I think she memorized like over 40 different types of fruit in like a span of a few hours. Just pretty. And the snail. Yeah, because they had that one was a trick.
Yep. That's got to be my favorite character of book 3, aside from Webbs and Silver. Got to be the unnamed snail.
Gotta know the trick questions, you know?
When the unnamed snail said it's snailing time and snailed all over the rings, that was amazing.
Thank you, Anori.
Oh my god.
A pivot.
Truly the moment of all time.
Guys, I think this might be the Hidden Kingdom.
Really?
Oh, really? I didn't know. Well, it's almost like it's the name of the book.
Yeah. They go to the Nightwing Kingdom. They meet.
Tsunami, it was you. You were the lost heir all along.
They meet the Nightwing Kingdom. They're like, "Oh
Tsunami,
my god,
it's you.
You're the Hidden Kingdom.
Or the princess. Y'all won.
Sorry, guys. I gotta quit this podcast. I just realized I have to go watch Binion's Rise of Gru. I'll be right back.
Okay, enjoy.
I'm good.
I'm going to buy $1,000.
We're losing apart. All right, let's finish this up as fast. Okay. Yeah. After giving the little rousing speech, she decides she's very tired because she hasn't really gotten proper rest at all throughout the past 2 weeks of their journey, or really any time at all, really. And that's when Scarlet visits her in her dreams with one of the dream visitors that were made in the world. I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's 3.
Let's go, Scarlet!
There are 3 of them, yes. Yeah, favorite character only appears for one
Best villain.
Just for 1 chapter. And she reveals that, yeah, she did survive her attack at in the Sky Arena and currently held in an unknown location. She kind of asked Glory, like, "Hey, would you come help me out?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, loser."
Yeah, she picked the L.
So,
plus ratio.
Pick the L, Scarlet. That's what you got.
Ratio plus no more maiden. Actually,
maidenless.
No more maidens. No more girls. No more male.
The next morning, they were brought into the Arbitorium, which is basically the heart of the village, where they do like the challenges, right? And there was Magnificent decided to bring the rest of the queens because it would mean the loss of their throne too if they did lose. So, which means Glory had to get a team of her own. So she had to choose like a couple of Rainwings because she figured that they would evolve like their specific abilities and such. So she chose Kinkajou, Mangrove, Jambu reluctantly, and then Tamarin, who is blind. So yeah, we're off to a good start. Each of the challenges involve different abilities, ranging from I think it was fruit gathering. There was a tree gliding race. There was a flower hunt, camouflage, and then
a venom spitting.
Venom test.
Yeah, the venom dart thingy.
So Jambu and so they had that while Magnificent teams involved Dazzling, Grandeur, Exquisite, and Fruit Bat. And she basically said, yeah, all of them are kind of incompetent because Dazzling just prefers a bunch of tributes, namely food. I think Glory said, yeah, she was fat. Grandeur just pretty much said no to everything. And she was overall a downer. Exquisite, I forgot what Exquisite did.
Exquisite just had like her sloths all the time. Like everyone had to make hammocks.
Yeah, she had the sloths. She would all have to change her cover to be the sloth. She just is the sloth.
She's like the crazy cat lady of Wings of Fire. It just drags all the sloths around and everyone has to deal with it.
It is. I think she has like over 300
Oh my god, you're right.
Oh my god, that's true. Crazy. And then fruit bat, like I think she would just like mess around in the gardens and it would just be messy
Yeah.
with how it started.
She just like it was like a
Exactly.
tornado hitting the garden that always upset Tamarin, which is I think the main reason that like Tamarin was chosen was because Glory was like, oh,
Glory
Pikachu mentioned this
picked her, yeah.
Rainwing.
And she doesn't like fruit bat,
Yeah.
so that's a good pick.
The one thing.
So Mangrove and Dazzling are off doing the fruit gathering contest while Jambu and Exquisite are doing the tree gliding race. And Jambu was about to win before Exquisite cheats by having her sloths pretty much strangle Jambu by throwing a bunch of vines around him, and including his
Honestly
neck,
was
too.
kind of smart on the sloths
was
part. I
pretty-
didn't know if they could have the intelligence to
I
do
didn't
that.
think you could train sloths to do
Yeah.
that.
Or some
Yeah, that's,
about a sloth trying to strangle someone. You know it's an eventful competition.
Yeah.
Just casually train your sloths to manage
Love political
tripwires.
corruption.
How to
How
train
would that
your
conversation
sloth.
go? It's
Oh my
like,
god,
okay,
that would be
I need-
terrible.
Although I must admit, my suspension of disbelief can only stretch so far.
Yeah, I did think-
literally cheat.
There are so many things in this series that don't make any sense.
I don't know.
But out of all of them, like sloths being
I can accept
trainable to
animus
do that.
vengeance.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
accept
sense.
animus
More-
sloths.
Charcoal, I believe to think that, but I feel like there was a lot more goofier moments in this series that I think topped the animus or sloths or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I could name a couple other goofier
The
things
entire
that
series
happened in
is
this
simply a
series,
little
but this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of how goofy it can get.
the series is just tobacco. That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's
All right,
quirky.
so a little bit of
Bit of tom-
tomfoolery.
We do a little trolling,
trolling.
says Grant.
We do a small amount of tomfoolery.
All right,
We
we're
do-
near
we
the end,
partake-
so let's finish this up.
Okay.
So, Tamarin was about to goes against fruit bat in the flower hunt. She basically used like her nose to get a sense of her surroundings, essentially, and was able to find I think it was like the rare crimson orchid, I believe.
Maybe?
Yeah, because
I
like
think that's
it
what
was.
it was.
I think-
Yes,
Was it the cinnamon orchid?
it was like a rare flower. It was like a rare
Yeah.
flower.
Yeah.
And she was able to win that. And Gloria went against Magnificent during the camouflage
It's called the
contest.
cinnamon orchid.
Yeah.
It's a cinnamon orchid.
Oh, the cinnamon orchid, yeah. I thought it was the crimson orchid. I must have read it wrong. I don't know. Crimson
Yeah.
orchid just has
Yeah,
more fun.
yeah.
Gloria, when she was trying to find Magnus, she used like the crowd's stares to like help her find where she was. And then when it was Magnificent's turn, she just scared her pet sloth Silver into just running up
Which
into
I
the
mean,
tree and
honestly,
finding her.
I can't tell if that was intentional or not because either the sloth gets scared and doesn't find Glory, or the sloth knows exactly where Glory is, and somehow none of the other Rainwings.
I don't know. Maybe these sloths are just built
Maybe,
different.
yeah.
Yeah, they're animus.
It's like
The Wings of Fire sloths are
Sloths in the rainforest
Uh,
are a different breed.
sloths in
Sloths
this
are
series are
everywhere.
something
They're
else.
I would.
bloodline is,
It's like I want like a SEAL Team 6 of sloths.
I think there's more like lore in the bloodline of sloths in that rainforest than the entire Night Kingdom.
I would definitely. You know,
Watch
When are we
Arc
gonna get a
4 be about
winglets of the
sloths.
sloth bloodline?
Yeah. Where
you know,
are
it might
we?
it might as well be at this point. So yeah, after that, I think Mangrove and what was the other's name? Dazzling come back from the competition. Like Mangrove just barely beat Dazzling by
Dazzling
1
got a
point, but
little
that's
hungry.
because Dazzling ate 3 of the fruits.
Tummy hurt
Just
just
a little bit
bit.
hungry. Just lose the competition because
Yeah,
The tortoise in
my
the hair.
point of view. It's W hurt.
her
my point
mind
of view.
was on her.
Honestly, like with Dazzling being the one mentioned in the guide, I kind of figured she would be more important, and
Yeah.
then she just does nothing
No,
basically.
I thought
Yeah.
she would be important too, but I guess that's part of. I think it was already mentioned that Nightwings barely knew anything about.
You think at least like
Rainwings.
we would put like
So-
Splendor there?
Well, yeah. To be fair, at this point, it was firmly
Actually, okay,
established,
hold on.
but
Yeah,
Logically, you'd
using her
think
that early on.
I think
would-
the whole
would
point
make
was that
it do something.
the guide, the Nightwing guide to the drives, isn't supposed to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
100%
but even
accurate.
then, you'd think it would be like Grandeur listed there, and I hope I'm saying that right. But you think it would be her there because she's like the oldest, you know?
No, they kidnapped the first Queen Splendor because they thought that would be important, but that they didn't realize they'd take turns being queen. So that was a bit of an
Bit of an
oversight. So basically, we got 2 for 2 in the winning. So it's all that leaves is the venom shooting competition with Kinkajou and Grandeur. They were testing for distance and I think targeting.
Yeah,
Grandeur
they're
won by
looking
long
for-
shots. Kinkajou barely got like a quarter end, and she looked so defeated. And I was just like,
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. Although I think that's gonna happen when like you get to the end of the team and you go, "All right, 4-year-old Dragonette, please fight this." How old?
Fight this. I think she's like over 100 because like Glory mentions that Grandeur and Handsome are like the oldest ones in the tribe.
Yeah.
Ancient.
So yeah, just have this child go against this woman with
This
years
won't
of
go wrong.
experience. Back when Rainwing abilities such as Venom and Camouflage were used for self-defense.
Back when it was
and
a
not
well-established
games like
plot
this.
point that Kinkajou was terrible at venom spitting.
Which also brings another point too, is that if Grandeur remembers the time that Camouflage and Venom all had to be used for self-defense, then it means it must have been quite recent where the Rainwings
Yeah.
decided to become pacifists. Because like whenever I thought like it was like a long time ago,
Yeah,
back
that's what I
in
would think,
2,000
too.
years ago. But no, it was actually way more recent. It was probably within like the last 100 years
Do you
or
think
so.
in like Darkstalker's time they mentioned like the Rainwings either being like a really strong military force or like traveling merchants? I think it was.
Well, they were more competent.
You
They
know,
were
I
more
think it might
competent.
be
Yeah, they were
back
at
then
least
than they
more
are now.
competent. They were.
I think about it.
I think now it's recent when they.
What I find hard to believe is that, like, at some point they forgot how to read and write.
Yeah, I found that weird too. You think that would be important for like, I don't know, connecting with the
Yeah.
rest of the world, or just anything? Because Jambu doesn't even know how to read, and he's like 9, which means he's like 20.
They forego.
I swear the
Yeah.
aging
it's
system of the
wild.
series is so weird. And then
It really is.
that's another thing.
yeah.
I'll
I
mention
think I know
that
exactly
later.
what
I'll
you're
mention
going to
that
mention
later because there's
before.
one last point I would like to bring up.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like I
the-
forgot to address
Yeah.
the elephant in the room. Anyways, let's finish this up before I go on a tangent.
Okay.
Basically, Kinkajou and Grandeur, they're doing the competition, and they're doing target practicing, and then one of the sloths just rolls up casually on the target, just taking a stroll before Kinkajou decides to push it out of sight and gets hit by Grandeur's venom. So her wing is burning off, which is
8 to
really
12.
cool,
Woo!
I guess.
I just gotta like
And-
it's like a counter. We're up to like 3 or 4 by
So
now.
8 to
in this
12.
book. Not including the other series. Yeah, 8 to 12 p.m.
It's like just imagine like a 9-year-old screaming
Has
as
her
like their
skin
arm is
ripped off.
melting off.
God. Early Wings of Fire just has like this certain edge to it that I don't think the later art
Yeah.
captured as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it was really fun revisiting the gore.
It was like this
Yeah,
was definitely more intense. After that, like Glory and Grandeur actually do the venom test, and they find out that they are related. So that's how she was able to fix up Kinkajou's wing. And Grandeur reveals that they come from the original line of Rainwing wings, and they just like stopped counting because like her children have been incompetent. And decides to forfeit the competition because she sees Glory as a
Honestly,
worthy
though-
successor, and just tells the other twins,
Kinda
"Yeah, you're all
Yeah.
incompetent.
This
You're done."
casually tells her.
You kind of have
This
to
casually
wonder
tells her,
how
"Okay,
incompetent
Kinkajou,
her
you
kids
win.
were
Goodbye."
when, like, if she hasn't kicked off the current by now, like until now, like you have to wonder how incompetent her kids were.
Yeah.
I think, but I feel like this was the main catharsis of the story, personally, because like Glory's entire character was like, she was characterized as lazy and like incompetent most of her life, and then now she's finally taking over the queen of
And
the Rainwings and actually being
One thing
important.
they thought Rainwings could
That was
handle.
like a main turn.
Yeah.
That was a main turning
It just
point.
feels
Essentially,
important.
It would be really
that was
cool.
like the main.
Okay, but like something that I do kind of take issue with
Mhm.
is the fact that like the twist that Glory is actually descended from the original line.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that Grandeur kept track. Like you'd think after so many times of having a
Yeah, like
daughters.
and the fact that Grandeur
Yeah.
basically forfeits because of that.
we gotta have her save the Nightwing somehow.
Yeah, I
or
think
else
it was
this would be
personally
way
like a
more
mix
dark.
of like, well, you seem competent and you
Oh, I
care
know,
about the
but,
tribe,
like-
as well as, and you're also related to me, and I'm kind of biased with that.
Funny to-
I mean, I would be too if I had to deal with like generation after generation of incompetent
Yeah.
dragons. So I would probably do the same thing.
I think it would be really funny if like the Guardians actually realized that like half of the Dragonets of Destiny were royalty if they were alive.
Yeah. Okay, but like my issue with it is that like it seemed to kind of be like pushing a message of like with the Rainwings actually turning out to be lazy and Glory having to like prove that she's not like them. The message there kind of like you can do whatever you want no matter like where you come from, like what like how the rest of your people like think or act. But then then she's basically handed the throne
Yeah,
because
that's
it turns out she's royalty anyway.
No, I feel
I actually
I get your
didn't
point.
notice that as well.
That's a little bit.
I feel I can understand, but I don't really feel like that was like the main theme the Hidden Kingdom was going for. The main theme I got from it was like rising up from the expectations of others. Because like I said before, she was already characterized by the Guardians to be lazy and worthless, and like the whole point of her doing all this was just to like prove herself and others that she wasn't incompetent or lazy, and that was probably like more of the main message than that.
I think like
At
her
least that's
being
how I felt when I read it.
I think her being royalty was more of like an added little like side thing. Well, whereas like the main part of it was she still got to that point. Like she still almost beat the challenge. She still almost like got everything. She did it herself and with the help of Rainwing friends. But in the end, it was still like turning her being royalty sort of grandeur.
Like,
All right, but I would like to, but we should probably finish this up before we give any final
true.
thoughts, right?
yeah.
So Clay comes back to reveal that Starflight has been missing, and then he must have gone to Warner Nightwings, and it goes to the epilogue where the fake Dragonets of Destiny are brought to the Night Kingdom, all of them being upset as usual, on the verge of almost killing each other, and then Fate Speaker notices an unconscious Starflight being brought into the fortress, and she's got a feeling that he's important to her destiny, and that's what
He and the homies suffering absolute bloodlust and hatred towards each other.
Because of me and the homies suffering over, I don't know, spite of the three.
Me and the
Sandwich
homies
sisters
being
for the
forced into
past
the
18
situation,
years.
and also there's an old Nightwing here.
Yep. So that's Hidden Kingdom.
You're
What
not-
do you guys think?
Okay, if you're not
Exactly.
constantly wanting to kill your friends, are you really friends?
It's like kissing them
You know,
goodnight,
it's just
except
a
it's
little
just like
friendship
you're
thing.
trying to
Just
murder them.
Casually killed them.
Exactly.
Charcoal, you misunderstand.
It was
He
only ironic.
ironically tried to kill Glory.
It was we do it in
It was
full
just a prank. There are cameras hidden.
There was
Um,
a camera at
yeah.
the scene of the crime. That murder was
Yeah,
just
it was just a
satire.
prank,
Don't
bro.
worry. It was just an epic dank tech scene.
No, I think after reading, like I know I said before that this was my favorite in Arc 1, and reading it again, it's kind of hard because like there are points where I did really like the book with like Glory's development and all that, and like finding out the twists and everything. But it's at the same time going back to it, like I already knew the twists and all, so it wasn't as surprising as when I read it the first time. But I do definitely think this is I think it's because of those twists why I would rank it pretty high. Because it is still engaging, even going after a second time. So overall, I'd say it was a...
Why is it that like, the
Yeah.
third books of each arc are usually the better ones?
I don't know. I guess the middle
It's because you're
act
at
is
the
just pretty
climax.
good,
Everything else
you
is
know?
either uphill or
'Cause
downhill.
That's like where because this is the point in the story where like the things like flip over their head and like the stakes are changed and different now.
Like the actual
Yeah,
cards. And everything's actually coming together now. So that's when everything like picks up.
Of course. Will you guys have any final thoughts about the Hidden Kingdom?
I don't think so.
I just kind of want to go there, you know? Like, if there's a cool jungle, just hidden jungle in an area, I would be there. I would be there right now.
You would not last a second. in there
Maybe.
without being
However, they
strangled
might
by
confuse
sloths.
me for a sloth being Rainwings or another cute fuzzy thing, and I might get stolen.
You might get
It was
stolen.
pretty funky, I admit.
Do you think any Rainwings own a pet
I feel like
scavenger?
they would. Yeah, they
I
didn't
don't-
mention scavengers
I'm
at
not
all
sure.
in like the jungle. Yeah, I don't doubt that it would happen, but like I
I
don't know if
don't
there
doubt
actually
it.
were scavengers in the rainforest.
I do doubt that it's like I do doubt that there would be any scavengers in the rainforest to begin with because I do believe that the scavengers think that the Rainwings are the most dangerous dragons because no one's ever gotten out of there alive.
Of course. Alright, so now it's all done. We got a little Q&A starting up, so if anyone wants to ask questions, now's your chance. Like, I don't regret reading this book at all, because I figured it was pretty solid, and going back to it,
Yeah, it
it
holds
is still
up.
solid. But I definitely
Yeah,
think,
it was very
The
good.
only book
like,
that
I think I definitely did enjoy it more the first time around, mostly because of the twists that were surprising that first
Yeah,
time.
it still
but I do
holds
think
up
there
on a
are things
reread.
to
Like there's still stuff
appreciate
you
on
can
a
go back and
reread.
find. See,
I honestly don't remember like half of the Hidden Kingdom, so I don't know. I think I've read it the least amount of times.
All right, here we go. The glowing platypus says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your Hidden Kingdom Dragon Book experience? I don't know. I gotta think about this. I would say, I actually have to think about this.
I would probably give it like a 7 or an 8.
I was gonna
I don't
say
know.
that too, like a 7 or an 8, because like I did like those twists, but at the same time, there were a few things I found a little bit off. Like, I found the second half to be, I don't know. I feel like a little bit could have been trimmed down, to be honest, because like they seemed to like hammer home the point that Blaze's incompetence for a little bit too long, my tastes. And the climax of the book involved like just casual games of like hide and seek, racing, and all that. Whereas the last two climaxes were like escaping a prison and then going through espionage in this.
There was a lot of escape in this arc.
Like the climax involved like Rainwing games was
Yeah.
strange. I mean, that's the point. They're pretty much runaways, you know, because
They're
it's kind of
having a
caused a
little
little
bit of
bit of trouble in the Sky Arena and the Summer Palace.
I do think the Hidden Kingdom is like a nice breath of fresh air from all the like constant
Like there was still
and
action,
running.
but it was sort of like you could tell it was sort of like not toned back, exactly calm action.
It was like a break. Yeah, it was like a break.
Of course.
Kind of like filler.
I honestly think like it's like these solemn moments of like clarity and quiet reflection that honestly are more of a highlight than stuff like action, like being in the prisons of the Skywings. Because I think like I feel like because like despite Arc 1 having like these heavy solemn moments of like different characters like going through like different stages, because like they have like the Skywing prisoners, they have like them like all the Ice Wings were pretty much executed. Coral's eggs being smashed throughout the second book, and now we have the Nightwings kidnapping the Rainwings and then torturing them for their venom. Like, despite these like solemn moments in the story, like, the overall tone is lighthearted and uplifting, which is still surprising, because I feel like to have an effective story, you need to take the reader through a various sets of emotions, but there was never a point in Arc 1 where I felt things were truly hopeless, and that's the part I do appreciate.
You couldn't do a whole lot of like from a writer perspective. I'm not a writer, but like I know what I'm about to say. It's sort of like you can't really explain like the lore of the world, or you can't really go into detail about things when your characters are constantly on the run and they're just focused on like getting out of an area. Whereas in the rainforest, they were sort of content on like settling there for a little bit and then actually finding things out, which makes it a lot easier to explain stuff about fire.
Not to mention, it takes a very compelling lead or ensemble to make the constantly changes in world and characters interesting for their interactions. Alright, let's go through more questions. Glowing Platypus, do you think Kinkajou is more annoying or cute?
Yeah, I thought she was fine.
I thought she was fine, really.
In this book in particular, I would say cute. In every other book, she's annoying.
I agree. Some characters start off good, and then they
I got something in my
go
throat.
off the deep end.
It's like a downward spiral from here for Kinkajou's character arc.
Ouch. I kind of have to agree, especially since a later book. I can't really talk about it, but you'll know the part I'm talking about why Kinkajou's disliked.
In the Hidden Kingdom, like in her first appearance, she was like she acted like an actual kid. You know, she was bubbly. She had all those like thoughts, but she wasn't like overly annoying. But in the later books, I feel like she was just like she was trying too hard to be funny and like that comic relief.
Yeah,
I still really like her character though.
We got more questions. Twilight Guy, what do you think would have happened if the Rainwings were part of the war? Whose side would they be on?
Chat seems to agree on Blaze, and honestly, I'm on that side too.
I'm on that side too, because I can't really see them siding with Burn or Blister.
Blaze would be a good idea, because I do think like that the war was mainly like in favor of Burn and Blister. I don't think like Blaze was going to be in a really advantageous position. She wasn't going to die, but she probably wasn't going to win if she stayed in the Ice Kingdom. But the Rainwings would be really good help for Blaze in a writing standpoint, which would make everything more equal.
Would say.
Yeah.
From a writing standpoint, yeah, it's hard to see that.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes, I think so. Said, if you had to choose which Sandwing princess would you guys?
Yeah, they're all terrible. Yeah, no, like.
I mean, all of them are terrible. It's like asking which scorpion do you want to get stung with.
Exactly.
Honestly, I would probably say Blaze just so I can sit back and watch the chaos of watching that idiot try to run the kingdom.
Yeah, I would rather have Blaze because, like, at least I'm not being ruled over by a dictator. like the other two.
I mean, just watching the kingdom implode from Blizz's stupidity would just be hilarious.
Just like
I'd
the
say, I
economy
like
just
Blizzard
crashes
thing,
within like
out of
2 hours.
but I
And, like Blaze literally spent all.
Blaze bought.
She spent her money on crypto, guys.
No, it's like she just spent the entire royal budget on like more decorations for the palace.
That would be hilarious.
Just literally wiped off the continent.
And it would be completely in character.
That would
like
be funny.
Blister, but I would say
all right.
I would pick Burn just because sorry, I'm still on this, but I would pick Burn because Starflight's only reasoning, and we saw this in like book 1, the only reasoning not to pick her was because she would apparently keep the war going for fun, which I guess, but I also can't really see it. I feel like she might do something similar to Scarlet, where she starts like an arena, or she just like murders things for fun. But I can't see her keeping the war going.
You know what? I could see that, yeah. I feel like she probably would have started like a
Yeah.
Sky Arena by having like prisoners fight for entertainment. Alright, another question from Flicker. Would you consider Rainwings one of the best tribes, like in terms of general happiness and prosperity? They basically chilled for the whole world war while everyone else has killed each other. There was this chapter in part 3 where Sunny and Gloria were talking about that, like if
the whole like we're dragons, not caterpillars.
The Rainwings in terms of diplomacy, because like they were talking about like how we could do different things if we
I
wanted.
mean, like,
They were
aside from not keeping track of their kids, I would say Rainwings are one of the better tribes.
In terms of like bigger picture, I wouldn't want to be remembered as a Rainwing, but like being a Rainwing would be like one of the best like to have. Like it would be one of the best living places to live.
I think Tu even said that she would be a Rainwing if she chose to. Well, yes, I think so. Asked, would you guys ever try that fruit that made Clay's mouth super sticky? You know what? Yeah, that sounds funny. I'll do it. That sounds. Thank you, Cattington, for a visual.
Yeah, yes. Cattington.
You take a bite?
I would try a bite.
I think I forgot to mention the I'm sorry, I'm tripping on words here. The elephant in the room with like Deathbringer and Glory. Like right now, the ship, like I know that's fairly controversial for various reasons for like future work. But I guess in the context of this book, like when I first read it,
was there any tension at all? Yeah,
relationship, because I really couldn't tell. I don't remember anything really.
Like in this book, I don't think there was.
It was no, there really wasn't. I mean, it was fine, I guess, for the context of this book, but after a later work,
with
like
the
it
ages
starts to get
especially,
weird with like
it's like Glory's technically a child, but Deathbringer's not.
The aging is weird.
I feel like it would be okay if it was down the line. Like there's it's sort of the same thing where you can't have like a 16-year-old and like an 18-year-old. Like you can have like a 42-year-old.
I think that might have been a mistake on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That might have been a mistake on Tui's part with the aging system, but like, I mean, it's better than with like Whirlpool in the last book, which I've talked about.
Yeah.
It was a step up, to say the least, but I am no way encouraging or discouraging. I'm just saying like there's a lot of things that could have been better cleared up.
The only thing we can say for sure is that at least it's not Whirlpool.
Right. Oh.
Like anything bad happens in the Wings of Fire universe, at least it's not.
We'll take a few more questions before we close out. CodyKat asked, if you have Rainwing Venom or camouflaged powers, which one would you have?
Camouflage.
I would go just to be special and quirky.
Yeah, I would
I'm
go
gonna
with
go with Rainwing
camouflage.
Venom because the idea of like watching somebody unhinge their jaw to spit at somebody else is kind of a funny mental picture. Yeah.
That would be kind of creepy to see in an actual person.
Yeah, I'm imagining
You're
it
like
now.
you just
Camouflage would be
your
more
school
useful.
I think camouflage would be fun.
Your school bully just moments.
Because at least with camouflage, we can have more fun with it rather than being arrested for using venom.
Your school bully moments before death. They just see your jaw
Check
unhinge,
this,
and then they just die.
Yeah.
That's the
That
last
would be
thing.
nutty.
Think fast, chocolate.
Dude, perfect Rainwing Venom trick shots.
just like start a Dude Perfect channel, but with your Rainwing Venom power.
Exactly.
That would be funny. Alright, I think that's about all the time we have. What do you say?
I don't think so.
You guys have any final words before I close it?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Wings of Fire is good.
I don't think so.
And also,
Bamboo's probably
also, I'm
bad.
sorry.
Alright, well,
Wings of Fire
Deathbringer's
is
a
good.
beta.
I just want to...
Absolutely.
Deathbringer is a big
Sigma Jambu.
All right, if
beta
that's the
Deathbringer,
message you
that's
want to
what I'm
leave
leaving
off
this off
on, we'll go for it.
Sigma Webs.
No,
Webs
I'm going
is on
with
that
Sigma Webs.
Sigma
so
poison grind
I'll
set.
start my movement. I would like to say thank you all for joining here. Like, this has been a really
you for letting us
pleasant
be here,
experience.
honestly.
And, I'm really glad to have you on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
And
us.
thank you for actually hosting all this TopBug.
Yeah, I just want to.
Yeah, this was fun.
I wanted to thank our incredible staff team that worked hard to make all of this happen. The r/Wings of Fire Discord server with partnering with us and helping promoting it. And I wanted to thank each of the listeners here for tuning into our show. And be sure to join in our Discord server for updates, guest applications, and ways to interact with our community. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to fly in again soon. Bye!
Make sure to check out the Outclaws Discord server, and if you haven't already, check out our other episodes. The links are in the description. If you have any questions or want to be part of the show, contact us at outclawspodcast@gmail.com. Other than that, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time on Outclaws.